Hi, I'm Jana, and this is a real mom car tour of a luxury 3-row SUV that I might be in love with. This is the 2025 Cadillac Escalade IQ. And in this quick tour, I'm gonna take you all around the outside, show you the inside, and tell you what it's like to drive. I'll give you all the specs and everything that you need. So without further ado, buckle up and let's do it. When I was growing up, my dad, my brother are car guys, and they would always say it drives like a Cadillac because that was the pinnacle of luxury and handling. It meant it was a smooth ride, it was a luxury ride, and it just felt really good. That was the highest compliment you could pay a car, was it drives like a Cadillac. So you can imagine my excitement to actually drive a Cadillac. The Escalade IQ is one of the largest fully electric SUVs on the market, and the Escalade L, which is going to be that extended length, is the largest. Haven't driven that one yet. But this one, to me, when you look at the side profile, it's really giving Range Rover Sport when you see the roof lines and the side body. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I love the design language on the Range Rover. I love the design language on the IQ. So a couple specs, a couple things you need to know if you're gonna drive electric. This gets 460 miles of range on a full charge. It has 750 horsepower when you use this button right here. This red V is a Velocity Max. You also get about 786 pound-feet of torque with that, and that's gonna be a lot of low-end torque, which means when I'm trying to make a maneuver, I'm trying to get on or off the highway, or there's a big truck that I wanna get around, when I wanna stomp it and get ahead, Velocity Max is gonna be your friend. Or if you just have a heavy foot, whatever, no judgment. So you're gonna get your peak performance when in Velocity Max mode. That's gonna be that horsepower and torque that I just gave you. Now, when you're in Velocity Max, you're not gonna have that ginormous range because it's going to pull back on your range, but it's gonna give you that extra performance. So you just have to weigh what's more important to you. I think we all know now I have a need for speed, so probably shouldn't say I'm the V lady because y'all are gonna get in the comments and be nasty, but I'm all for the Velocity Max. So handling, it's smooth as silk. I mean, really, it feels great. I've had a little bit of trouble getting in position. I drive so many different cars that I'm always like a grandma. I like a commanding presence in the driver's seat. So I like to sit up high, I like to see over the hood. I'm on my 10 and 2, but if you're driving $100 and something thousand car that's not yours, you would also make sure you were at 10 and 2. So one of the things when women or smaller people get into big SUVs, one of the major complaints is that they cannot see over the hood. I don't have that problem with this one. I do have my seat higher and it will go even higher. All right, that's as high as it'll go. I'm really grandma now. I do not have a problem seeing over the hood. One of the things about this particular car that I will show you when we are in a different position is that there are a ton of cameras. You can get a full 360 view, you can get a great bird's eye view, and an animation to show you what's around your IQ. But my favorite thing about driving this car is that it is equipped with Super Cruise. And Super Cruise is the leading hands-free driver assistance technology that General Motors has made. It is the holy grail, in my opinion, for hands-free feet driving. It will speed you up, slow you down, change lanes for you, and you can even use it when you're towing or hauling. And this will tow up to 8,000 pounds. So a lot of people think you can't do that in EVs, but you can. Again, if you're towing a heavy boat or a jet ski or whatever, it will drain your battery and your range a little bit, but this has Google built in, and because of the way it's integrated into this system, when you're using Google Maps, it is gonna go ahead and calculate the distance that you're going and how much battery power it's gonna take to get there based on your driving habits. And it will also map out places if you need to get a charge along your route so that you can feel good about doing all the things you need to do comfortably, but not get just completely stricken with the range anxiety that's real. Because if you don't really know about EVs and it's not your thing, or you're just kind of curious, all you hear is the bad stuff, you know, it gets cold and it won't work, and you know, I think the doors are blowing off of Teslas left and right, joking, but you know. So there's a lot of things that go into factoring range and your battery life. And one of the things you should know, this has optimal charging capabilities. So when you're on a level 3 DC fast charger, it only takes 10 minutes to get 100 miles of range, which is just about as quick as stopping at the gas station. By the time I stop, go to the bathroom, grab a snack or a bottle of water, it's been 10 minutes. So just imagine you're at the DC fast charger. It's really not a huge inconvenience in my opinion. And you still are going almost 500 miles on that full charge. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this could take the place of the ICE Escalade? I think it could. Being in the driver's seat is really comfortable. And the way this is set up, you have this screen here in the middle that is right at your fingertips, and this is what we call the command center. So we have this 55-inch screen that goes from pillar to pillar in the front, and the first 35 inches are kind of tilted towards the driver. But it is a little cumbersome. I thought I had a long arm, but I can't do that to touch. It is a touchscreen capable. That's why they give you this little luxury rotor, this dial here, that you can toggle on your screen with this so that you're not reaching too far ahead. So I like having options. A lot of people want physical dials and buttons. You don't have a ton, but this little roller here will make up for that. So on this screen, on your command center, you control all of your heating and air stuff. You control everything with your seats, and if it's equipped with this option, you have automatic opening doors. So if you're dropping kids at carpool, your door will open one of three ways: slight, which is barely open; standard, which is normal to get a grown-up, that's what I call adults to my kids, in and out; and then full size, which is the most the door can open. One of the really cool things is that there is a radar located inside of your door handle, and it will take into account obviously if there's a pedestrian or a bicycle coming up and that sort of thing, but also if another car is parked close to you and maybe you don't know it, or maybe you pulled in a little too close into the parking space. That radar in the door handle would keep you from dinging somebody else's door. And parents, we know that's really important. That's the first thing I taught my kids. When you get out of the car, don't fling your door open, because nobody wants to have to deal with dings and all of that stuff. Okay, so that's your mobile command center. I will dive a little bit into some of these functions, what you can do when you're stopped. You can control a lot of things in this car with your voice because Google is built in. But some of the things that are specific and controls that you have, hard controls on your steering wheel, you do your adaptive cruise control or super cruise if it is a super cruise mapped road. You can select the Velocity Max drive mode right here, which is going to give you your highest horsepower and torque. If you don't want to say, hey, blank, you can touch this button and do it that way. And with Google built in, it will do things like change your temperature. You can say, hey, Google, I'm hot.
Maybe you'd like to go swimming.
No, that's not funny. I don't know why. No, I don't. Okay, you get the point. You can voice activate your nav, your heat and air, you can set reminders, check the weather, all the things. And the cool thing about Google built in with this technology, you don't need your phone on you for it to work. So God forbid you drop a phone, lose a phone, don't have it, run a quick errand. This still functions separately as a separate piece of technology. So I just think that's really handy just in case something does happen to your phone. I've been on a drive before and mine fell out of my pocket and into a lake, and that was not really great to be on a content creation trip and to have a phone at the bottom of Lake Austin, so that sucked. The screen in front of the driver is mildly customizable, and I'll show you that when we're stopped. But depending on what you want to see as far as how your gauge cluster looks, you can toggle that back and forth. The thing that I like focused on, which is right in my line of vision, is this really big head-up display, and those are always really hard to show. But it's color, it's big, it's wide, and it's adjustable, so you can move it up and down depending on your line of sight. You can also rotate it, which I don't know why you would do that. It needs to be level. And you can turn it off, I'm pretty sure, if you don't like it, but I like it. You can control the audio with your voice or by using this button or toggling this up and down. There are cameras in here that Super Cruise uses to make sure that you are paying attention. Those are located here and somewhere else in the cabin. So if I am not, paying attention, it will alert me that I need to get my eyes back on the road. When Super Cruise is fully engaged, this will turn green and you will see green here and or in your head-up display to let you know that you're fully engaged. You can take your foot off the pedals, take your hands off the steering wheel. So what do you guys think? Do you have trust issues, or would you trust Super Cruise? I gotta tell you, it's wild when you first do it, especially when you're in really thick traffic or you're on a highway you're not familiar with, and you just have to put blind trust into it. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but I've had a really good experience with Super Cruise, so I have gotten a lot more comfortable with that particular technology. One of the things that screams Cadillac to me is the luxury interiors that they put in here. You have 40 speakers, including these in your headrest, which means, sounds really premium. You feel like you're in the center of all the music. And they take it a step further with the luxury and comfort, because these seats in the first row are both heated and ventilated, and you have the option in a higher trim level for them to do massage, which of course, I've got to have it. This is vegan leather, and people go crazy when I say vegan leather. It is still a product. It's made out of polyurethane. You can argue whether that's good for the environment or not. I'm not here to argue about it. I'm just telling you, this is not made from an animal. It is a synthetic. From what I've been told, synthetics do hold up really well in the long haul against fading, picking, tearing, all of the things. I haven't had a synthetic in a car that I've owned personally, so I can't speak to the longevity of it, but I'm being told this is a very high quality synthetic. One of the things that's really polarizing is the gear shifter, and General Motors has moved a gear shifter all over. It's been here, it's been here, it's been here. We're back to the stick on the column. Because this is an electronic gear shifter, you pull it in and up to go in reverse. You pull it in and down to go into drive, and when you stop, you just push this in to park. Because all of that is housed here, and it used to be down here in a tunnel, it opens up this area under your command center for a pass-through. And a pass-through is terrific, especially for moms that have all their stuff with them, or ladies. You can put your purse down there, your clutch, your handbag, your iPad, you get the point. Whatever you want to keep out of sight goes in the pass-through. But that's not the only storage you get in the IQ. You have tons of storage under this armrest with places to charge with USB-Cs. The glove box opens when you touch this button on the command center, and it just pops right open. There's more storage in your doors and tons of storage in the front because you have a front trunk. The cool thing about the IQ is that you have a third row that will be comfortable for an adult on short rides, obviously kids on longer rides, and you still have some decent storage with the third row up. Obviously with it down, you have plentiful cargo, but if you are in a pinch and you're driving multiple people and you had to carry their things, you could certainly do it. Because this is a Cadillac, these third row seats lay totally flat with the touch of a button. You can both put them down and bring them back up. And not only that, this button lays down your second row seats as well. IQ has prioritized room and amenities for your first and second row passengers. They haven't forgotten the third row, but you're gonna have more luxuries and more legroom in the first and second rows. These seats do a fold and tumble, which is not my favorite. You get that in the Lexus GX 550 and some other Lexus products, the LX as well. I don't love a tumble seat because to use it, you have to uninstall a forward-facing car seat to get people into the third row. Now, a little caveat on there, and it depends on your trim level and what package options you add to your IQ. If you have executive seating, you have a whole host of amenities in the second row with an additional command center to control all of those things. That console is stationary, and that's the only time you can get the console is with that executive seating package. If you have just a normal captain chairs in your second row, your people can still walk down between your two captain chairs to get into the third row, meaning you don't have to uninstall a forward-facing car seat in that instance. But just as a note to everybody, I don't love the tumble seat for what it's worth. I love a car seat tilt and a tilt and slide. I would much prefer that. In the second row, these seats are on rails, so they go up and back and they recline, and I'll show you in a second how they tumble. This has the entertainment package, which means you have screens on the back of both seats that you can hook up in HDMI. You can watch YouTube, Hulu, hook up your own thing, whatever you want to do. One of the coolest things is there's a button in the front so you can check in on what your kids are watching. You can listen and make sure it's appropriate or not. You could broadcast it through the whole car, or they can hook up a pair of Bluetooth headphones so only they can hear it. I'm gonna hop over here and just show you. Without the executive seating, you have this large walk-through area and this screen to control your climate for your backseat passenger. Not only the second row, but you also have dedicated climate for your third row, which I love to see because if you're back there, you don't have to sweat it out. Your second row seats are heated, and I don't think I've showed you yet this beautiful pano moonroof. It's fixed glass, so it doesn't open, very typical in EVs, but I love it, and I love the way that it looks. We have multiple places to charge down here with USB-Cs and a traditional household plug. And if I push that in, I have 2 cup holders, which I really like that placement because the ones in the door are not that great. I don't even know if we can call those cup holders. There's like a little storage compartment in the door, but not for cups or bottles. So that is where the kids would have that. And I'm gonna show you really quickly how much legroom we have in the 3rd row. So I'm gonna come right through here. I'm 5'7". For those that don't know, my knees are not hitting the seat. I wouldn't want to sit here for 3 hours, but I'm fine. And if I'm the only one back here, I can poke my legs out down the middle. So your 3rd row passengers in this trim level have a USB-C on both sides, a cup holder on both sides, and a little padded armrest. I have decent leg room back here, good headroom. My vents are up top, and something you never see, there is an extra vent for the middle seat because you can fit 3 people in the 3rd row. You have 3 head restraint, latch, anchors on the bottom, but there are 3 top tethers. So just know that for your car seat install. If you wanted to latch and tether, you would do that on your captain's chairs. A bench is not available. These are on rails, which I mentioned, and if I wanted to get myself out of the 3rd row, there's a handle on the side that I would pull, and it would collapse that, and a second pull, it will tumble out of my way so that I can try to gracefully exit the 3rd row. Like I mentioned, if these are tumbled, you can't get a car seat in there, so it's not my favorite, but it's what we've got to work with. You still have decent storage with the 3rd row up. All your charging stuff is located under here. You have an additional household plug here, a light on both sides. You can see those lower latches. And when I lay these flat, you get a ton more cargo room. This may not be an all-time 3rd row use for you. That might be the IQL. That would be give you a little bit more room, 4 inches more, for the 3rd row passengers. But if this is your, on occasion, 3rd row, most of the time I have mine down, so you have tons of storage. And if that's not enough storage, in the front, we have an e-trunk. So let me show you that. This e-trunk has 12.2 cubic feet of storage, and there's 3 different ways to open it. There's a button under here, there's a button inside, and you can also pop it from your key fob. There's also another plug on this side, 120 volt, to power your campsite, tailgate, whatever you're doing. You can do it with the Escalade IQ. There's an product that Cadillac offers that you can add on, and it's a sliding tray thing that has netting, and it would be a great thing if you're a shorty or you just want more convenience. You can slide this out to gather your groceries or your whatever that you're hauling around. And there's another little thing you can buy, this little piece right here, the felt thing that pops up with these squares, to just have separate bins for your groceries or for smaller items because you don't want them rolling around. To close this, I always want to do this, but you're just going to retouch this button and she'll close for you. In the front, since I haven't mentioned it yet, I do have to tell you, you still have your signature Cadillac Escalade grille. You're gonna have the vertical LED lights that are so signature Cadillac that really sets off this whole front and back profile, because when you see this at night, you're gonna know it's an Escalade. So what do you think of the new Cadillac Escalade? If you can handle this brand of chaos, you can find me all over social media. I'm on TikTok and Instagram, and at realmomcartours.com. So for me, in the IQ, I think that's all I've got. Thanks for watching.